We replace the worship of God with the worship of self. Because we've done that, we create these role models that aren't meant to be imitated. Now we have some TikToks about relationships, about some marriage. We're gonna get into it. It's kind of following our last conversation when we went through the statistics. Are you ready, Kenya?
I am ready.
I think I'm ready as well. Let's get into it. All right, so we have some wonderful TikToks queued up for you. We're about to have some quality conversations. We got some crazy ones. We have some ones that are speaking straight facts. We got everything in between. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's get into it.
Just as much as women need love, your husband needs respect. Not only was he created to be able to need this, to receive it, he was built that way. He's going to be drawn to the places where he actually does receive it. Whether it's his workplace, some of us are like, why is he always out of the house? Why doesn't he like to be at home? Why does he always feel so grumpy or look so grumpy when he's at home? But then for some reason, when we're out with his friends or when he's at work, he's thriving there. You see so much joy in him. It's because he's receiving respect. He's going to find respect in the relationships where he receives it. And if that's the case, we've got to figure out a way to understand that there is a true need for a man to be able to receive respect. That's good.
Dang.
Yeah, it was good.
What was good about that, Kenya?
She was speaking facts.
Yeah, she wasn't capping. And I think she said like there's a need for a man to be able to receive respect, which I think is like a huge thing that she hits on, because as men, that's kind of all that we are striving for. We're striving respect from women, respect from our peers. I mean, in sports, it's like we're doing it for respect. Like Derek Jeter, that was his big thing, was you respect the game, but also you want respect from the game as well, from the people that play it, from the people that watch. And if you're a model citizen in whatever sport that you're playing or in life, then you will get that respect back.
Yeah, something I learned like a while ago was like the way that women crave love is like how men crave respect. So it's like, which we'll get into in the scripture later on.
And that's kind of how she put it, right?
Yeah.
She was like, the same way women need love, men need respect, right? And it just goes back to the differences between men and women. It's like we don't crave the same things. Men or women desire to be like wanted and, doted over. And men is like, no, just respect me. Like, just have my back. Appreciate everything that I can do for you. Let me do things for you. And that's kind of a reason why a lot of these independent women, when they, start getting money, and then they start dating men that maybe make less than them or they see as lower value, they lose respect for them. And then that's what crumbles the relationship, not necessarily that the man was being bad or she starts actually thinking that she's too good for the man instead of just embracing him and building him up. Because if you build him up, you never know where he's going to end up.
So for an independent woman that's like, hey, I need to change my ways. I know I need to get it together. How would she go about like building up? Like, what does that look like?
Well, I think it's all in how you present yourself, right? And so you can it's almost like you can cuss somebody out without cussing them, right? It's all in your demeanor and your tone. And so as a woman, you have to learn the art of being soft. I mean, remember, I forgot when we talked about the biblical definition of femininity, and we were like, it is gentle but strength. Yeah, it's gentle but strong. And that's kind of what being like biblical femininity is. It's like, you're not a pushover, you're not a doormat, you're not a slave to a man in a sense, but you are his rock, right? You are there to, support him, and you really you are his drive in a sense. It's like, for me, personally, there's places I want to reach because of you. So I can just be like, all right, like I got you, I'm holding you down. You know what I mean? And so if you learn how to be soft and you learn how to approach it like, hey, babe, I know you're kind of down, or I know you're not where you want to be, but let's think of how we can get here. You know, I think that's the best way of going about it. And I think this next video that we have from Matt Walsh describes exactly what I'm talking about.
We're going to hatch all kinds of crazy schemes and plans. I know that I do anyway. And you need a woman there because she could see that blind spot, and she's going to tell you, well, that's not going to work. Whereas I think for men, on the other hand, this is my gender stereotypical way of looking at it, is that, you know, I rely on my wife to let me know when I've got some idea, some plan that's just like utterly self-destructive. It's going to destroy the whole family.
But by the way, that last sentence is the key, right? That last part of the sentence, that it's going to destroy the whole family. Because my wife tends to think in terms of the effect on the family.
See, that's great, because as men, we do have that desire to build, and we have all these ideas that go through our head. We want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do that. And if you have a good woman there to be like, hey, I don't think, yeah, what about this? What about that? And that's what I appreciate so much about you, is that there's times that that happen all the time where I'm like, okay, I want to do this. We need to do this. We need to do that. And you're like, whoa, wait, like, what about this? We got to slow down. Remember, we got to hit this goal. We got to hit that goal. And you're thinking about us as a unit. And it's not that I'm not thinking about us as a unit, but I'm thinking about, like, how can we, you know, get to the moon? And you're like, well, we need to build the rocket. Like, we need to slow down and build the rocket instead of worrying about just getting to the moon. And so I think that's the dynamic of the man and the woman in a, you know, a biblical union, and just in a biological union as well. And I think the further we get from those roles that are not necessarily ingrained in our culture, they're ingrained in our biology, then we're going to continue to see kind of a decline in the culture as a whole and in American society. You have anything to add?
No.
All right, let's go to the next video.
You know what I think the new religion is for women? Selfish. Me, 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 me. What are zodiacs about? Me. Why should you leave a divorce? For me. I want to be happy. My happiness is more important than my kids' happiness. Me. You think about how selfish that is? If I have kids and I'm married and I'm not happy, I will stay because my kids' happiness is more important than my own. To me, that's just common sense. Like, if I'm a mother, I would hope I love the kids more than myself. But modern women don't. They love themselves. Heard of so many girls saying their moms used to compete with them. A lot of numbers suggest that men are better single fathers than single mothers. They're much better with their money, yet women win them in custody battles.
Man, that's great. Because it's like, she hit the nail on the head. And we're actually going to, in a little bit, touch on the Tia Mowry situation, where Pearl is talking exactly about that. And so if you haven't seen that video, go and watch that video next. But I mean, I think the culture is about me.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I think it's a lot like everybody,
right,
for the most part.
I think narcissism is the biggest thing that's plaguing our society as a whole. You know, we replace the worship of God with the worship of self.
Mm-hmm. Got self-love, got manifesting, all that kind of stuff.
Self-happiness, all of that. And because we've done that, we create these role models that aren't meant to be imitated. It's like, you shouldn't be trying to, like, a role model is a person that you are striving to imitate. And that's why God should be the ultimate role model, and that there should be no gods before you. Because when you're trying to imitate that, then you are going to be closer to the characteristics. That doesn't mean you will be perfect. It doesn't mean you won't sin, but at least you're striving to be the highest that you can be. But when you start replacing that with the worship of, like, self, then you're going to start imitating people that aren't worth imitating. Like all the celebrities that we have. It's like, yeah, you can imitate, like, what they're good at, but then they bring their politics in it, and we're like, oh yeah, speak. And it's almost like whatever they say is
gospel.
It's gospel, exactly. And I think that's another reason why our society's in decline, because it's like the worship of, you know, these people that aren't meant to be imitated, that aren't worthy of being imitated. All right, you have anything else? All right, let's go to the next video.
Whoever said that being an independent girl and, like, moving out of your parents' house and living on your own and, like, being so independent is fun, let me just warn you. I used to be the type of girl when I got my paycheck, I'd be like, oh my God, it's going towards my hair, it's going towards my makeup, it's going towards my clothes.
Her voice is annoying. Let's proceed.
You know
But
what
she
I
has a
spend that
point.
shit on now?
She
My
does.
rent, my phone bill, my car bill. The other day, my car broke down and I literally had no one to call. I have to think of food to cook myself every single night for dinner. When I get sick, I can't just cry to my mom and have her make me make soup. I have to freaking pick up the phone and call the doctor and make my own appointment.
Wait, time out. So this chick said, I have to, she said, I can't call my mom because I'm an independent woman. I have to make my own doctor's appointment. That's just part of being an adult.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, that's just an adult thing. It's like your mom, like she looks like she's in her low to mid 20s.
I mean,
It's like,
not gonna lie. I love when my mom makes my appointments. Not gonna lie.
but at least you can make your appointments. You know what I mean? She's like, oh my God, I actually have to do this. And I don't know what to cook. Like I have to worry about cooking my own meal. And it's like, that's crazy. But it's also going back to like, you need people in your life. Like you can't just get away with doing everything by yourself. And that's why this independent woman mindset is so toxic, because it's like people
You don't need anybody.
Yeah. People need people regardless of a relation, like, you know, romantic relationship aside, people need people in general. And so you thinking that you could just be bad all by yourself, nobody's ever made it to the top by themselves. And if they have,
They lied.
it's well, one, it's lonely at the top. You hear a lot of people say it's lonely up here, because once they get to the top, they lose a lot of their friends, or they realize everybody's just trying to take advantage of them. And so we need to get back to surrounding ourselves with good people. You're the average of the, you know, the 5 closest people around you that you kind of converse with and dialogue with on a daily basis.
You are who you hang around.
Right. And I like to say you are the fruit that you bear. And so what you're acting out is a direct result of what you're putting in your body. And so if you're not watering your, you know, metaphorical tree with the proper nutrients, getting the proper sunlight, doing the things that you need to do on a daily basis, then you're not going to bear fruit at all. You're just going to be a barren tree. Yeah. And so let's get to our next Bible verse here. And I went too early.
Do you know how scary it is to make your own doctor?
Next. I guess that one doesn't have sound.
Whoever said that
Okay, well, we'll skip that one. All right, let's wrap this segment up. So what are your takeaways from the segment?
Takeaways: men need respect. Don't be selfish, and it's better to have people around you rather than to be alone.
And we'll sip to that.
You like that? You like that?
Like for the algorithm.